The ruined keep is bathed in the warm, deep red glow of a sunset. The sweltering evening heat creates a haze over the ocean as the sun sets behind distant mountains. The party are in those mountains, watching a sunset for the first time. Standing on the shores of a lake they never expected to be there. As the light disappears from a sun they've never seen clearly before, they talk to Serene, a young, stubborn woman surrounded in black mist. The lake has a surface of steam that gently floats and swirls, seemingly forming shapes, sometimes people, sometimes ghostly hands that writhe and twist. The trees near the lake are still. There is no wind. And in the distance, the party can see an occasional glimpse of the church. Just the tower above the lake, surrounded in steam. Rogerton is now covered in water. Water that reaches the roofs of the sunken village. And beneath the water, the deep red glow of lava. Lava that has neither evaporated the lake nor cooled down. An unnatural mix of hot and cold, defying the laws of thermodynamics. Serene stands deep in shadow, her usual scowl on her face, and that unsettling feeling you are getting used to, emanating from where she stands. And that is where we'll pick up the session. If you'd like to unmute yourselves.
I love that music, by the way. Very cool. Kind of Disney-like.
Is it the one with the screams?
Disney, that's what Simon's going for.
Yeah, I just googled Disney music.
No, like atmospheric Disney movie music, like like Snow White in the Forest music. That's yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm only teasing Simon.
Simon, I have sent you a quick question on Discord.
Okay, cool.
Doing here? That's what he said. So is Zaymar currently facing Serene? Because he sort of stepped forwards to address her, I think.
What was literally the last thing that was said, or I haven't checked last week's.
I can't remember exactly what was said. You were talking about why you're there and why she's there. That was the topic of conversation.
Oh yeah, and I think I'd asked her something about any ideas how to get.
That's right, and she said no. She had no. She didn't have a clue how to get across. That's why she's still there, basically.
Oh, that's right. So Zaymar will turn around and take out the bottle that he was going to use to fill up some water.
Okay.
So he'll walk down to the remaining stealthy, and hopefully Alithia is close enough to the water that he won't have to leave the area of stealth that she put down for us all. And quietly and carefully fill up the bottle with water.
Okay.
But without dipping his hands into the actual water itself.
So the aim in doing this is to remain hidden from Serene.
Serene already knows we're there, obviously. So
no, you stayed hidden while talking to her.
Correct. Yeah. So the idea is to keep hidden from everything, essentially. Okay. Certainly, he wouldn't put his back to her without being very careful about that. But yeah, he just wants to move quietly down to the water and see if he can gently fill up the bottle.
Okay. You'll be glad to hear that I'm keeping the stealth rolls from last session, so you are very well hidden and perfectly capable of moving through the undergrowth without leaving any clear passage. So you pick your way towards the lake. In fact, you do so quietly that nobody else is aware that Zaymar is doing this. His stealth roll was insane, so you are unaware that this is happening. I think Harathi was mainly leading the conversation with Serene anyway at this point.
Right, so question for you. As we travelled through the jungle, because we went off-road, and this is not a managed forest in any way, shape or form, is it?
No, it's wild.
So there should be well, let me ask the question rather than assume. Were there sort of fallen trees and things here and there?
Yeah, there's plenty of fallen trees, mainly because in natural jungle you would get a few, and then when lava comes hurtling out in crevices, you get a lot. So there's plenty of material for building a raft, if that's what you were thinking.
Yeah, that is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
In fact, he'll say so. Seems like the only way we're going to get across to wherever that chanting's coming from is building ourselves a raft. Plenty of trees in that forest. I'm going to go get some, unless anyone's got any better ideas.
Sounds good. You seem keen on getting across the water. What are you looking for in particular? I was surprised to see you.
Well, turns out on the way here, some sort of shadow woman came up out of the ground with some, I don't know, tentacled dog things. And she was chanting. And, well, let's just say we investigated the lake and heard the same sort of chanting, several people or things. If there's chanting, I'm guessing they're not doing it underwater.
Yeah, but what are you expecting to do when you get there?
Kill them.
Why?
They might be causing this fucking water to be here.
And the water is doing what to you?
Well, it's stopping us getting down into Rogerton, ain't it?
Why do you want to get down into Rogerton?
Surely we're here for the same sort of reason you are. We need to find out more about corruption.
Is he near me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna grab his hand and point up at the sky. Bertie, have you ever seen that many colours all at once?
Aldri turns to Ellie and smiles and just says, "Every time I look into your eyes."
Bertie, I've got brown eyes. No, I've got green eyes. No, I've got green eyes. I'm sorry.
It's still a good line, though. It's really nice.
It's going to be one of those evenings, isn't it? Oh.
I'm so sorry. Her skin is brown, her eyes green. Also, isn't that the sort of thing you should say to Baha?
He knows it, Ellie. You need to hear it.
Thank you. I
But,
know we've got a...
To say it is beautiful.
Do you think we'll have 5 minutes just to watch it?
Well, I can't imagine Zayma or Harathi doing anything useful in 5 minutes, so absolutely.
It's like a painting. Do you paint?
Well, I dabble. I must say I'm more of a pencil and charcoal man myself. I find the simplicity and the dichotomy between the paper and the charcoal to be as effective in conveying emotions than if I had a palette as vast as the sky. I think you can get so much out of charcoal, especially. And he pulls out his sketchbook and kind of turns to a few of the scenes he's been doing from his window in his townhouse of the harbour. And he finds one picture, and he says, "You see here, I could have included all of the colours in the sky, but I think just the black and white tell us it as it is. And this, while this line could be a smudge to someone, the way I've pushed the charcoal, I hope captures the waves in the morning and the foam as it crashes against the harbour walls." But no, even saying that I couldn't replicate the sky. So
Oh, I was going to ask you if you could, maybe if we get back, try maybe my treehouse. Do you think it's like this back at Trillin? Do you think the sky's? Do you reckon it's? Do you think it's a corruption that's made the sky like this?
well, I don't know for the entire world. As you know, weather varies. I don't know how localized this is, but I hope it is at Trillin. It's about time that town saw some colour.
Trillin's really colourful. It's all green. But wait. So you think it's corruption? Do you think there could be good in corruption, or the mist?
Well, it's as you said, Ellie. The corruption is in itself neither good nor bad. It just is. It comes from the shadow realm, and it's how it is used. But as to what's caused this, do I have any understanding, Simon, of kind of the weather implications of what's going on?
Of the sunset.
Yes, and kind of what's caused the parting of the clouds, and whether it could be linked to the eruption or corruption.
It's going to be one of those genius leaps of mental agility if you can work anything out. But please do roll Arcana.
Well, it's one of those again.
18.
Yeah, that's not quite genius level.
No.
But it's good enough to get a sound basis. In your expert opinion, you think there's something in the sky that has fucked the sun. No, you can't really draw any conclusion about Arcana. You do know from a sort of physics point of view that the heat and the light radiating from the sun shouldn't have the burnt edge to it. And if it does, then corruption is potentially affecting the energy that's coming to the world. So there's a link there.
Honestly, Ellie, I'm not entirely sure. There's a possible link, but frankly, like you, I think I'd rather just enjoy it right now.
Is Zoma back from the water yet?
Yeah, so you filled in your flask, and in the time that they've been speaking, you would be back completely.
Was it warm water? Boiling water?
Yeah, it's slightly after boiled kettle temperature.
Oh, that's right. That last week. On the way back, I will just tap out like a couple of drips onto my hand, making sure that I haven't got any corruption in it or anything like that, and then just taste it and use my sort of if there is any knowledge of poisons and stuff like that, just to detect, see if, because there was a thought that it might be salt water or something like that. So.
Yeah. Roll nature.
Nature, my favourite. Let's have a look. Good grief! I think this is my first nature roll ever. Probably.
Probably.
My first nature roll ever is a 20.
Wow.
A natural 20, which means that it's 23.
All right. So Alithia's already described quite a lot about the water, and indicated that she believes it's oceanic. You immediately detect salt, and you would say it probably is ocean water.
Nothing sulfurous or anything.
Yeah, there is a edge to it. It's not just ocean water. So there is a chemical element to it that actually roll. No, that should all be in the same roll, I think. Your expertise in other substances tells you that there has been a certain amount of interaction between the water and the lava, as you would expect. And you've never, I don't think you've ever visited that kind of volcanic area, but you are aware that if water hits lava, it interacts in such a way that quite a deadly poison is created,
Right.
a gaseous poison, and you can detect the edge of that in the water.
So I think that it's possible that the surface of the water that steam is poisonous.
Yeah.
Zamal will wander back up and then sidle up quietly up near Owlbear and whisper out, Owlbear, Lithia, Barathea's off. Where is he? Has he disappeared off to the trees? I have a quick
He
glance.
wants to make a boat.
I think we were just queuing action, so
Yeah,
I think
so
Harath is doing
I'm
something else at the
technically-
time.
I think I'm still in the middle of a conversation
Yeah.
with
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise. I
Okay.
thought.
In that case, if I can, if Harath is still there, it may be that going on the surface of the water may be very dangerous. I can detect some sort of poison to the air. That mist may well be poisonous itself, but there's something that you said, Albert, as I was walking back up from the lake. You mentioned that the light coming from the sun. I wonder if the clouds were there to protect the world from the light. If that light is corruption and now it's able to hit the surface, is it possible that corruption energy is hitting the surface and that the clouds were a protective measure?
Well, first of all, I told you about the poisonous gases before we came up here. I said, let's be honest, volcanoes, lava, poisonous. And yet we all decided to, come here anyway. So, thanks. Secondly, I don't know, in all honesty. I haven't seen the sun before. So while I can say the ring around it is unnatural, I can't say whether it was there before. Theoretically, if it was, then the clouds, of course, would provide a level of protection. But I suppose it's chicken and egg scenario.
Well,
Though of course, we all know that the egg came first, because it had to. Whatever species laid the egg that first hatched, the very first chicken, as we know it, would of course come from an egg.
okay, let me stop you right there. As much as I am interested in chickens and their progeny, the point is about the corruption. Are we in danger? Is there any way that you can tell if we're in danger of being in sunlight? You can see how Zamar's getting slightly agitated. Like, you can see he was, first of all, he was freaked out about emitting mist anywhere, but you can see that he's pulled up his hood over even more now, and then he's pulled his sleeves back, and then he sort of like gaps in his sort of clothing. He's sort of like covered up.
Well, I don't know about everyone, but I certainly am. And he kind of smiles and waves a very fair, freckled hand in front of Zamar. I think just being here is as dangerous as we're going to get.
Enigmatic as always. Rathia, have we decided what we're going to do yet?
He can't decide because he's still waiting to have his conversation.
All right, sorry.
All right, so rewinding a little bit, 5-10 minutes, to the conversation between Harathia and Serene, which will probably be going on while you're heading to the water, actually, Zoma. I can't remember where you left off, can you?
It was something along the lines of, I expect we came here for the same reason that you did. We need to find some way to fight corruption or something.
Right, okay, yeah.
Stuff. Eloquent.
Yeah, I'll hear that in Harathia's voice. Yeah, same. We need to find out more, for sure. Don't know a lot right now. Except, obviously, what's happening here is new. Not seen anything like that before. Have you?
Nah. What I don't get, though, there's a stream running through Rogerton. And if there was a blockage, it would just... the stream would fill up, like a dam or some shit. So
Right.
there's a fucking great big sea here. Why isn't it flowing away? Where's the edge of it?
I don't know. I haven't gone to the edge on either side, but
Well,
it's definitely coming from the church, I reckon.
seems reasonable. Now my bet is the top of the church is sticking out of the water. And that's
Yeah.
where the chanting is coming from.
So you got any arcane stuff you can help deal with this? Because that's not my thing,
No, ain't my thing either. You're better off asking Adalbear or Lithia or, well, we might have some other help. Who knows?
Alright.
Meanwhile, seems like I better get some fucking trees. We can lash them together and maybe build a raft that's high enough that we ain't standing around in the mist.
All right. Well, I'm gonna head around a bit and see if I can see what's happening with the water on. You said down the riverside, like the stream, where that's going.
Yeah,
All right.
worth checking out.
All right, I'll check that out and come back to you. But you said your friends know a bit of the arcane?
Yeah, so whether they can help, who knows what fucking magic can do.
Can I speak to them?
Meanwhile, they're probably still having the conversation,
They're
aren't they?
chattering in the background about sunsets and stuff.
Right, you lot. Serene wants to have a chat with you. Let's assuming this isn't interrupting their conversation.
Yeah. We'll have to just assume that it all flows okay.
Meanwhile, Raphael will stomp off into the woods to look for trees.
All right. So I don't know which of you wants to start the conversation first with Serene.
I'll go and just say, we can either talk from here, or you can do something about making me not want to vomit if I get closer.
Yeah, about that. It's this place, I think. It's there's nothing I can do about it.
joys.
How far? Serene, do you know how far it goes?
What? Sorry.
This effect that you have on, well, Adalbert here.
Probably not that far. Like 30 feet, something like that.
Well, the water itself is hot. The mist over it is poisonous, and now Harafa is what? Intending to float us over to a church? This does not seem like a good idea.
So, Adalbert, oh, sorry, she doesn't know. So, do you have any way of stopping some of this? Do you have any arcane skills that you can, like, make this better?
That is a very vague question, Serene.
Well, I'm not a specialist in the arcane, so I have to ask your advice.
Can you be any more specific as to the preferred outcome of making it better?
Well, if we're going to go into the church, we need to be able to get there. And then we need to go down in the water or something, I don't know.
Well, I can't do anything about making us not boil alive. I don't think I can do anything about blowing the mist away. You see, it's just so vast. Earlier, before we found you, I was able to. Much of the mist you see in the lake is an illusion. While it is there, it is being projected by the town. I must say, I don't fully understand the mechanics myself, but the town, to my understanding, wants to trick you. It wants to lull you into some sense of security so it can defeat you or something like that. So the lovely mist you see on the lake, while poisonous and hideous, is also concealing a floating lake of corruption.
All right.
I can dispel the illusion a very small distance around me. I couldn't possibly do the entire lake.
I seem to remember a while back you did something to the water, or you tried to.
Yes, destroying corruption, I suppose, is a sense of kind of water molecules. I can remove it, but only in small quantities. If I was trying to do this entire lake, I'd be here till eternity.
Well,
the only other thing I could do is give brief resistance to the corruption, but not for all of us and not for very long.
I can blow stuff tomorrow.
blow stuff up,
Away.
away. The difference.
No, that sounds much more useful than mine. If you
Tomorrow.
get a wind, even then, if you can get a wind to disperse some of the mist and the corruption, that could
Not
give us a very
very
short
far.
window opportunity.
Not very far.
While you're talking, Serene suddenly snaps her head around towards the water as if something caught her attention. And she sort of frowns and then looks back at you all as you're talking.
So, if we get on a boat, and you're all within 10 foot of me, tomorrow I can make a wind just around me, so then we can go through. But we can't hear anyone.
How long will the the wind last for?
10 minutes. As long as we're not attacked.
So about 30 seconds, knowing our luck.
At this time, Syrin did mention that she was going to go and check out the side of the lake, so she's heading off.
I am going to watch what she does with my telescope. So I'm going to stay where I am, but I'm just going to watch what she's doing and scan the water and various other things like that at the same time.
Okay, roll perception normal.
Nine.
So she was hidden when you first arrived, and fairly shortly after leaving, she goes in between some trees, and you don't see where she comes back out again. You can just see shadows, and there's sort of a very dim twilight, which is often harder to see in than nighttime. So you don't know. She disappears.
Well, what do? We wait here? Is there nothing else that we can do? Or should we just return?
You want some light?
I'm not sure that's a good idea, but presumably we will lose your protection of this shadow.
Yeah.
Soon enough.
No. Yeah, yes.
Well,
By the way, Horathio, did Horathio say he was going to make a raft? Or did he just storm off? Sorry,
He
I
said
can't
he was
remember.
going to
He
get
did,
some...
yeah.
stopped off to the trees, so yeah.
Either way,
You can now hear like chopping and general sort of raft building noises. I don't know what tools you. I assume you've got like rope and stuff like that.
Yeah, I got rope and I got my axes, although they're meant to kill things rather than chop trees. But that's why he's going for trees that are already fallen over, and pretty much if they're the right sort of size, he's just going to drag them whole. He doesn't see the point in chopping bits off. He can just lash them together with some rope and stack them up so that we're off the surface of the water, and that's what he's got in his head.
Yeah, as you try and push things together, you'll find that there are certain branches you do have to chop, otherwise you can't close the gap. But sure, it can be a very prickly raft. That's fine.
Yeah, so I mean, he's not going to build a raft in the jungle. He's going to drag all the stuff out to the shore and build it there. He's not a complete idiot.
well, either way, I think we'll have time to wait for tomorrow. Ellie, Horathio may be a hulking beast of a man, but even he's going to take some time building a raft worthy of 5 or 6 people. I mean, I could help, but then he kind of looks at his hands and says, but, skincare routine, of course.
I'm going to send you a quick message, Simon.
Okay.
Ooh. Oh, you sent me a message and I didn't see them. Oh, no, I did see them.
All right. So relatively loud noises from Horathio. Everyone else, I'm assuming, unless you say otherwise, is maintaining your stealth and keeping quiet and hiding.
I assume that we will just lose the spell at some point.
Yeah, I don't know offhand how long that lasts, Mads, but if you check the
Minute.
yeah,
A minute.
yeah, that will definitely help. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, fine. Has the thingy worn off?
Well, it was 20 minutes to get to the lake, and then we were chatting around, so it will in about 30 minutes, I would guess.
So we've had 40. So it is now. Okay, so night has fallen. I'm going to change the background. Okay. So there's still quite a lot of light around because the lake itself generates a form of underlighting, as there is a glow of heat from under the water. And unusually, there are quite often signs of the moon as the clouds move.
Can we see it?
You can see the moon, yeah, from time to time. And that's
Is this
also the
ring-
first time you've seen it.
Yeah. Is this ringed in the same black corruption as everything else?
No, it's normal.
So pretty.
So, 40 plus 15. You've got 5 minutes left of your stuff at this point.
Yeah.
You want some more?
Zamar's going to edge away from the rest of the group. No, I'm joking. I do not think that... I think we should rest, Alethea. If we start now, maybe we'll be finished earlier.
Okay.
So
Okay,
what
I'm
you sent me will require either stealth or everyone knowing that you've done it.
I'm just gonna go help Parathia with the rocks. Yeah.
Don't help too hard. I'd rather
Okay.
have some rest this evening.
Okay. I think I'm only gonna help for maybe 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so Alethea goes over to help Arathia. And?
Parathia.
You're muted. Arathia. Oh,
Oh, Chris
No,
is frozen.
gone completely.
Is frozen. Parathia is unresponsive. He's too busy building his raft.
from reading his lips, I'm pretty sure the word "what" was said first. Like what?
I know, but we need to hear the rest though.
I think you're gonna have to move on. He's crashed out, I think.
That's fine. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's not a super urgent thing for me to do. It's just a bit of fun.
Okay.
Oh,
If I do it or don't do it, it's not going to make a difference. Can I just see how far out is the spire of the church?
It's about 200 feet, 300 feet from where you are.
Okay, so so we can get there in a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
But it's all kind of underneath the water.
The church tower itself is above the water, but the
rest of the
church building is under. Yeah.
Everyone. What if we have to go in the water?
Then we boil and die.
I mean, I can make us breathe underwater. I can't help with the boiling though.
breathe underwater. What?
Yeah.
Okay. How many of us?
I think all of us.
All of us, including. And Zamar looks round somewhat weirdly at Bron.
Hold on one second. Yeah, I mean, like, that makes what? 5, 6 of us? Yeah.
What about Serene?
Yeah, we can do her too.
If she's joining us. I mean, that's very useful, Ellie, but it doesn't get over the fact that this water is kept at a nice freshly brewed tea temperature.
Can you do anything about that, Bertie? Because I can't do more than one thing if I do this. Or maybe I can.
What, make a cup of tea?
Out of our blood.
Well, no, I can only make one person at a time, I think. I can only help one person at a time, against the heat.
I wish myself I could do more. I can, if somebody gets ill from the poison, I can do 1 or 2 of us to protect us from the poison, but that is the most.
I can do that too.
In that case, I...
Sorry. Sorry.
And I shall save my...
Zimmer, you're very good at stabbing people.
Thank you. You're most kind, Adalbert.
No, my skills lie elsewhere, other than protecting against heat.
Can I?
I'm just wondering, Samita, I know you're versed.
I don't believe that I'm there.
You don't know where Samita is right now. Don't forget, you're all hidden, so finding each other is difficult, and some people like to be a bit further away than others. Samita is one of them.
Says, Samita, and looks around and goes, "Oh, well, I know Samita's versed in some of the arcane, but I don't know where her skills are."
I don't know. If we need to go inside, it's a bit worrying. Unless we just move the water. Can you do that?
No, I can just destroy it piece by piece.
Because I can let us... We can walk across it without it hurting us. Do you have some corks, Amar?
What?
Do you have some cork?
Yes.
So tomorrow I can help us walk across it without hurting us. Because I think it works on acid and lava. So it must work for like tea water.
I do not understand. My corks are very small, and while they do bob on water, they...
I just need a little bit.
You need a little piece of cork.
Okay. Yeah.
What are you going to do with it?
Make us walk on water.
Always, you surprise me, Alithia. I have no idea. Like, he reaches into, rummages around, and then like goes down one of the side pockets, and then delicately pulls out a cork with a whole like cluster of needles buried in it. Then he whips out one of his daggers. How much do you want?
Adalbert puts his hand out and says, "Before you go, and just saying, while we may walk across water, we still can't get underneath it. And I fear if we suddenly wake up being able to walk on water, we may destroy Heriathi's little pipe dream of building us all a boat."
This sounds like a good thing. I would not want to go on that. And he gestures vaguely in the direction of the raft.
I mean, neither would I, Zamar, but I'll let you be the person to tell him that he's wasted his evening.
What we can do is we can, so maybe 1 or 2 of us can stand on it, and then some of us can like go behind it and push it, walk on the water and push it.
Okay. I have no idea what you're doing, but how much cork do you want?
Sorry, I missed that.
How much cork do you wish?
Just a little piece.
Okay. He'll take out his knife and then shave the bottom of the... This much?
Yeah. But, once this is the case, we can only walk on the water. We can't go underneath. So I don't know what we're gonna do. Maybe we should take the raft as well. Because maybe, can you move water, Adalbert?
How long will the walking on the water last, Olivia?
10 minutes?
That is not very long. We can make it over there very quickly, but we will need to run back.
Oh,
Do we-
sorry, 1 hour. 1 hour.
Okay.
Why don't we go on Hiriaka's little boat, and when it inevitably falls apart, you can save us all with walking on water.
No, okay, but I have to do it beforehand.
Oh,
It takes 10 minutes for me to do
technically,
it.
yeah, one of those ones. All right. Yes. As it begins to fall apart, you can save us.
Or maybe I can do it beforehand and we just sit in the boat and no one tells us.
And the bear laughs and goes, maybe. But as you said, that still doesn't get us under the water,
Yeah.
which is the issue. Does anyone know where Samita is?
What's what?
Sorry, Chris?
Sorry, I missed. Did you say something?
Oh, sing. Does anyone know where Samita is?
No. Same. I will look around. Just. Can anybody see where she was? Perhaps we can see which direction she went in. The other alternative is that she could be standing right here and she's just invisible for the while.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start looking around, but I'm going to go easily. So I'm just basically trying to do a long rest at this point.
Take
and
this
things easy.
with you.
What's Olivia?
And I'll hand him a the flower. Give it to her if you see her. It's from you.
It's from you.
It's from you. It's from Zaymar.
No, this is from...
It's from Zaymar.
You want me to give Samita a flower if I... Right, I will...
If you
Pops it
find
in
her.
his jacket. It's like, he pops it in the edge of his inside one of his pockets or whatever. Like shrugs, like with no idea, and then walks off to do a quick perimeter and start looking around.
Okay. Harathia, roll survival.
Just to survive building a raft.
I suspect that's survival. 17.
I would say that for nefarious reasons, you've built rafts before, and so you're fairly experienced putting them together. And this one is not much of a challenge, as you're not trying to make it seaworthy. It just has to cross a lake, so you know from your experience with all of the boating you've done.
Yeah. So I mean, the idea that Horatio's got in mind is to have sort of whole trunks parallel, then parallel perpendicular, and do that for several layers so that when it's actually floating in the water and there's a few bits on top for us to stand on, that we're out of the mist and not in the corruption. I
take it, while some of us might imagine a raft is relatively small, you just put some trees together.
Yes, exactly.
So it's huge
together.
And heavy, I presume.
Yeah, which is why it's got to be on a slope near the edge of the water.
Okay. So as you remember from previously, the slope comes down to the edge and then curls down quite quickly. So there's kind of if you build it on that bit of the slope, as soon as you start pushing it, it will not drop off, but slide down pretty fast. So Zaymar was talking about a long rest. Is once the raft is finished, are you all going to rest for a while?
I am.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to go when it's lighter.
Okay.
Before we do that, I just want to try one thing. How far is the bottom of the lava from me? If I stand on the edge.
So right on the edge of where the bank goes into the water, the depth of the water is quite shallow, and the lava is not very far. So
Is the lava within
10
30 feet?
Yeah, it's about 10 feet down for you.
Okay. All right. I'm going to try something. Can I try using mold earth to move the lava?
Most spells, if it says do something to X, you can only do something to that specific X, but I will check for you.
It says dirt or stone.
Yeah, lava is neither.
Fine. No worries. That's fine. I'll try and I'll be like, rubbish.
It's rubbish, that is. I mean, obviously, the lava is sitting on Earth. So if you aimed it at what it's sitting on, then it would sink. But I don't. That's probably not what you need.
No. Okay. Then the last thing I'll do before I go to sleep is how seaworthy does the two last things I'll do. How seaworthy does the thingy look? The raft.
Based on Harathi's role and the fact that he knows ships, very. As I mentioned, it's a lake, so it doesn't need to be seaworthy. It's not. You're not going to be tackling high waves. And he's over-engineered it because he wanted the height. So you just have this enormous set of trees all clamped together. The biggest problem is going to be moving it, but Harathi is pretty strong, so you'll probably be fine.
I also figure. I mean, it makes sense to put like little bits that I've cut off underneath the raft. As I'm building it, like so they're rollers is what I'm talking about. So.
Okay. Yeah. Again, your experience with shipbuilding in Trillan, you know that's how you generally launch a new ship. So that's fine.
Anton looks at this kind of pile of logs and just turns to Baha and says, "How fitting he's built as a funeral pyre."
Baha nods and says, "Yeah, I reckon that might catch fire quite easily. We'll see."
Well, we'll have some hot water to pour over it.
Is that a joke, Seymour?
No, we will have some hot water.
All right, I can never tell with you
What? Tell what?
when you're joking.
I don't normally joke.
Exactly.
You have a funny face, though, Zamar, so it can be hard to tell. And out of their smiles.
A funny face. Well, I will bear that in mind in the future. And he turns around and walks away, pondering that.
Okay.
Serene has not returned.
No. So you know from your previous visit to Rogerton that where Harathia and Serene were talking about the stream on either side of the village. You started a journey down one side of that. There's quite a long way to go. It will take 10-20 minutes, depending on how fast she goes, to check it out.
Okay, well, I guess we'll wait here and see how we go. See if we make it through a long rest in one piece.
Do you think she'll come back?
Sorry?
Do you think she'll come back?
Serene? Who knows? I care not if she does.
Can I ask a meta question?
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how this works. Can I hold on to all of my spells until the end of the long rest and then use them all up? Or do I have to use them all up at the beginning of the long rest?
Oh, well, if you cast spells, you're not resting.
Okay, fine. Then, okay, so our berries are going to run out soon, and I think we'll need some tomorrow. So I'm going to use up all my resources. Cool? Cool.
You rarely consult us. Alithia, with your plans. So I commend you for doing
I'm
such plans.
trying. You told me we need to be a team, and I'm trying.
Yeah, look, do what you think's best. Look, speaking for myself, I don't know shit about magic.
Are the best noughts.
I won't be able to do anything else afterwards, though.
Well, then let's hope for a quiet night.
Okay. Everyone in agreement? Did you find Samita?
No, we have not found Samita, and Serena's left. Who knows
Do you
if
think
she'll
she's
be
been
back.
eaten?
Whatever's happened to Samita, we will find out, hopefully. But if she does not want to be found, it is going to be very difficult to locate her.
Okay.
Krathia's probably not really been aware that she's not been there. So, going, I mean, this is going to be hilarious, but can you go to where we last knew where she was and see if we got some moonlight, if I can see tracks and things and see if I can work out where she went?
As you start heading in that sort of circular routine, you do see the shadow. Actually, it depends. Are you still hidden, Samita?
No, I'm just walking back.
Okay. Yeah, so you do see the shadow of Samita heading back from a different direction, close to the water.
I'll look at her head cocked. Find out anything useful.
She pauses. She's got her arms like sort of around herself against the weather, and as if it's quite cold. She stares for a moment and then shakes her head no, and attempts to continue walking past you unless you stop her or talk more.
No, he's not going to stop you, and he doesn't talk much. So.
She'll wait though and walk beside you if
Okay,
if
we're
you'll allow
heading
it.
back that way. So yeah.
Sorry. Oh, Go ahead.
Zamar is just sitting down and pauses when Samita and Harathia come walking back together from the after Harathia thinks nothing of it.
I'll elbow him.
Yes. It is good that Harathia found Samita. It's one less problem to worry about. And then he's going to hunch up, basically, sort of curl his feet up or whatever, and then basically try and snooze away.
All right, so Zamar's sleeping. What are the elves doing?
All the good berries. So I'm going to make 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70.
70, all right. Is that similar to how many you made previously?
I think I made more previously.
I think you made 80 last time. Okay,
Yeah,
the reason I ask is because in 4 hours and 20 minutes, your original good berries will expire. So this is effectively replacing them.
Yeah, exactly. That's my plan.
Okay, cool. So that's probably that's another 20. So that'll be at. So you're making 70.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
What's your
then
distribution for everyone?
So there's 5 of us, right?
Yeah.
So I will give...
Plus Baha.
Plus Baha, plus Serene, if you like.
Yeah, I'm not giving Serene any. So...
Right, plus Bran then.
Yeah.
Each,
so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give 10 each to, not including Bran, to Baha
and everyone else.
Okay.
But I am going to give an extra 5 to Horatia and hold on for an extra 5.
Just make a note in your character sheet of that number.
Stack of good breed. Did you say you've given some to Bron?
No, he's got no pockets.
He's got a little barrel. You've got-
He's a lassie.
He's not a dog. He's not some brown.
He's a lassie.
Don't go there.
Say I could probably fashion a barrel to get. He's probably got like a little mini barrel. One under his neck, except for he wouldn't go near him to put it on.
Or even little pannier racks either side.
Yeah. You fashion that barrel and it'll be attached to your neck.
Oh. Oh my god.
I'm gonna have to create a picture of Bron with a barrel.
Well, it's better than taking his fur and gently creating little braids with a good brie on the end of each one. Which is what I was imagining when Raffia said, what about Bron? Hi, Kira. How's it going? Good of you to join us. All right. So
Direwolf.
So some spell admin from Alithia. Zamar's sleeping. What are the elves doing? Back to the original question.
Adalbert is going to be getting out his sketchbook. So this is one of the first times he's really seen places bathed in moonlight. So he is going to be doing a few things there, and then one more detailed one, kind of using the charcoals for Ellie.
Okay.
So he has his own sketches, but also one nice one for Ellie's walled treehouse.
All right. And while Zamar's sleeping, Harathia, what are you doing?
Yeah, Harathia will get some rest. I mean, how much time has he got left after he finishes building this raft?
Before they start resting?
Well, no, until we plan on until it gets light again.
Oh, so it's about 7 o'clock when you
fine.
start resting. So if you just did the 8 hours, you'd be up super early in the morning. If you waited for daylight, then you've got loads of time. You've got more time than you need for the long rest.
Well, I'll check to see what Baha's doing.
He's still on guard at the moment.
All right. Trying to make this not a racist question. So, wait, Bar, how much rest do you need? You know, elves and shit.
Yeah, just a few hours, same as the others. So I can either take first or second watch. It's up to you.
Take the first one. Wake me up in 8 hours.
Sure.
If that's enough for you.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
I watch the stars.
What was that?
Can I watch the stars?
Yeah, so the clouds are racing still. Ever since the sun appeared, they've been moving in a way that you generally have associated with bad things about to happen. But in this case, it seems like maybe bad things are about to happen. No, it seems like it's natural weather. But it's natural weather in a way that Alithia has not experienced. So it's a weird feeling. You feel like this is fine, that everything is just, that's how it should be, but it's very different to what you've actually experienced. Because the clouds have mainly just sat there covering the sky all your life. And as the clouds move, you do get the moon uncovered and then covered again, and moonlight sort of moving across you, and the occasional distant thunder, but nothing nearby. You can hear frogs and other insects around the lake, some animals in the background. It's very peaceful. And
I'm
warm.
gonna meditate on that.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else from anyone else?
Just in the few hours before we actually have to fall asleep, Samita will be very quietly playing absent-mindedly on the koto.
Okay. So you can all hear gentle plucking of a stringed instrument, which carries quite well across the lake as well. Sorry, did you want to post a link?
I want to post the link.
No, he was putting too many symbols in.
Right.
He's going to get booted.
Yeah, I put in just cloud, 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 and then a moon, and it decided it didn't like me. I put nighttime followed by.
I thought I'd turned off the limit because I like to put lots of emotes in.
Yes.
So
It turns out that I'm banned for doing too many emotes. All seems alright though.
it is enabled. I'm going to disable it for a bit.
Oh.
Oh, it won't let me. Okay, I won't bother with that. Never mind. I don't know why it's not letting me do it.
It's deleted by all of my.
It's timed out for 600 seconds now.
Yeah. Never mind.
Everyone roll corruption.
Oh, Lumins. When do we roll this?
Now.
That's
Yeah.
a straight D20.
Yep.
12.
12.
13.
Yeah. 2.
13.
18.
2. Horatio's doing well recently. 18.
Yes, that's two in a row, isn't it?
What was Samar's?
6.
6. Okay.
Okay.
All right. As you are sketching Adalbert, and Alithia, as you're gently watching the sky.
I've still got
and-
inspiration. Can I? Sorry to interrupt before you pass judgment. Can I use one of my inspirations that I'm still hoarding?
I was going to pass judgment on someone else.
Okay, fine. but you know.
But yes, you can. You've just done the roll, so go ahead.
Fantastic. Oh, 19. That's a good use.
Oh, great. Just me then.
Just saying that.
Those of you who are awake, you do notice that Zamar, while sleeping, is beginning to sweat unusually. All of you do sweat anyway because it's around 30 degrees, and you've had a lot of activity. And also the lake is very humid and there's heat generated from the lake. But Zamar is sweating more than he should, and he is beginning to show signs of having some kind of nightmare or disturbed sleep at least.
Do I make the connection, Simon?
That is up to you as a player. I don't mind what connection you draw.
Well, I'd like to think, considering where we are and the fact that I know all the mist coming off the lake is a mirage, it's likely it's rolling over the edge and surrounding us. So, recognising that, I'd like to think that I'd make the connection that it is corruption influencing him.
Okay, roll Arcana.
18.
The feeling that emanated, that kind of sickness that you felt when you were talking to Serene, when she left, it diminished. But it's still there at a very low level. Your guess is that the corruption that you've been wary of touching through physical contact from the mist may not be the only problem now. It seems as though effects of corruption may be stronger here and therefore perhaps don't require contact.
If I can, I'd like to kind of... It won't do much for my hypnofight in the moment. Got to kind of zame him while he's sleeping. Just put my hand on his shoulder and...
Zaymol switches over and like reaches up, grabs Adalbert, brings up his knife, and he goes, "Never do that again." And then like blinks a bit, and then relaxes, and then looks down at his hands. Sorry, what? And then he puts his knife away, and then leans back and.
As you lean back, there was a sudden rush of adrenaline and movement in what you just did. As you're relaxing, you get this sense of disquiet in your physical being. Your body feels bad, like you're being attacked by something. Normally you'd say it was a poison, but you don't think that you've ingested or been poisoned. And it's not causing any kind of poison effect. This is more magical, you think?
Okay. This place. I've got to. He stumbles over, turns over, and then gets up and starts trying to walk quietly away.
So Adalbert kind of puts his hand on his shoulder and goes, "Shh, it's okay. It's affecting all of us, just you more than some." And he kind of gives his hand there, and I offer resistance to corruption.
Okay.
So this won't help in the long run, but
What's
it
his
may help you fight it right now.
Okay. He will sort of stop, sort of take a few deep breaths, and then try to get control. And you can see him clenching and unclenching his sort of fist, and what he's doing is pressing his nails into the palm of his hand. And then turns around to Adalbert. What happens? Do I feel better? Not.
You feel like whatever affected you happened. And what Adalbert has provided you is protection for a future happening. So there's no change immediately.
Well, thank you, Adalbert. Whatever it is, it's past or too late, or who knows. Thank you. I am sorry. I'm not in the mood right now. And then he'll sort of like walk back over to the thing and then pull his hood up again and then slink back down. Slump back down, but his shoulders are drooping.
Okay. Are you going to try and sleep again?
He will try. I don't know how long I was asleep for.
Very short. You went into deep sleep within a few minutes. So this was only 3 or 4 minutes after that.
Okay, he'll try the game then.
Okay. Roll Constitution saving throw.
Here we go. Shit. 5.
So that was a roll to see how well you fall asleep. The answer is very badly. You're now having difficulty falling asleep. It won't effectively change the condition of the long rest, but if this continues too much, then you can suffer from exhaustion.
Okay.
Right now, you're just struggling to fall asleep, and we'll see how that takes us in a few hours.
Okay.
Everyone roll initiative.
At what point are
Joking.
we? Have we finished our sleep? So I guess we haven't.
About 5 minutes later.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
13
After-
for Raina.
Joking.
After we finish the sleep, or 5 minutes after Zamar's thing?
5 minutes after Zamar's thing.
Okay, but how far through the night was Zamar's thing?
10 minutes.
Right. Okay. Fine.
No, I don't want to go first. Fuck.
Well, if it's only 10 minutes, Ellie, how many berries have you managed to make?
That's a good point. How long does it take?
60.
Seconds.
Yeah, so
60 seconds.
6 seconds for each one. So 360 seconds
6
for
minutes.
for 100. No, for 60.
All right. Okay.
Simon, I sent you a quick question.
Yeah, so I've made them all.
let's do initiative first. So Adalbert, what did you roll?
4.
4. Zamar.
18, surprisingly.
Rathia.
13.
Samita.
13.
Alicia.
22.
Message from the gods was, "Don't make those fucking good berries."
I know, right? I know.
If only.
Oh my god.
Oh dear. Yes.
All right, so Zamar, you're lying on the ground, or whatever your sleeping position was, trying to get to sleep at this point. Adalbert, you just sat down. You got your charcoal. Actually, you're probably still sketching. So you're sketching the moonlight and the shadows and the trees. Alithia, I guess you're lying back, looking at the sky, and there's an enormous cracking sound, and it feels as though the ground is shaking, and a gap appears right in the centre of where you are. This is not a dark mist-filled gap. This is just a hole, and out of the hole, you see 3 claws. About each claw is 2 foot by half a foot of black bone. Come clamping on the side of this hole, as if an arm beneath the ground has lifted up and clawed on the ground. That is the start of the initiative. So, Alicia, you are first at this point.
Does it look kind of somewhat humanoid, or does it look more monstrous?
Roll nature.
Claws.
Sorry.
How big are the claws?
Oh, that's shit. That
You can't see on
10.
camera, can you? There. A bit bigger than that, because I can't fit the size of the claw in the camera. It's about almost 2 foot in length.
That's 11.
Apart from knowing that it's not natural, it's hard to say. The texture of the bone and the nature of the claw is similar to lots of creatures you have seen. It's clearly a creature that survives through eating things, but the actual material of the bone is weird. You've never seen it before. The closest you'd say is those crab things that you saw a while ago. It's similar to that.
So, if it tries to attack me or my friends, I'm going to hold a sacred flame.
Okay.
Chuck at it.
All right, so you're holding Sacred Flame. If it attacks, that's Alithia. Now, Zamar.
he's gonna sort of stare dumbfounded at this like hole. How big is this hole?
It's about 10 foot across.
So do I think that could I gauge how big this thing is?
Based on the fact that that appears to be one of its appendages, huge. Gargantuan.
Okay, I'm going to send you a quick question. But basically, he's like leaping up, like looking around to see if anybody else is around. I guess he's just gonna back away.
Okay.
And sort of hide, I would guess, at this sort of point. But at the same time, I'm wondering whether I could move anybody. Like maybe I could move Adalbert, like, or whoever out of the way. I don't know if it's possible to move to help somebody move.
As an action,
out.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I would do as my action. So I would move somebody back and away from this sort of like hole, whoever's closest, unless it's Harathia, in which case.
Well, it's bang in the middle of you, so you're all close. Alithia is has cast some arcane energy that she's holding ready to fire.
Right. I will move Adalbert back because he's probably the most squishy. So I'll drag him back away as much as I can, and then drop him at the edge, and then like melt into the shadows, kind of thing.
Okay, roll stealth.
15.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Samita.
The moment this happens, she will scramble backwards, try to get to her feet, and immediately cast invisibility on herself.
All right, make your spell roll.
Oh, that is good. That is a 23.
Okay, that is good. Yeah, you're beginning to get used to casting your spell in this condition. It's still annoying, and you know that it can fail at certain points. But right now that was perfect.
Okay, good. Then I'll move as far as my movement allows, just literally in a straight line away from the creature.
All right, cool. And Harati, you're actually on the same initiative, but Smita was nanosecond ahead.
Okay, so far there's just claws on the outside of the pit. Is that right?
Yeah, clamping on the edge, as if grabbing hold to pull up.
All right. And is it 2 claws? I'm trying to work. You said there were 3 creatures.
No, it's 3 claws of a appendage.
Of a single creature.
Yeah.
Now, in a roleplay context, if I were to chop the hand off, it would fall back in. But I'm aware that cutting limbs off is something that D&D doesn't really do. Is there any way of achieving the same result without the mechanics of chopping his hand off? So can I attack it in such a way that it falls back in again, is what I'm saying?
Because it's gripping the edge to pull itself up, if you did enough damage to even one of its claws, it could potentially fall back because it requires this grip in order to come up. So that would work, yeah. And I'd just assign a hit point value to the claw.
All right. Well, that's what I'll try and do.
Okay, roll a wisdom saving throw.
I've had a talk with this thing, so okay, I'll do the wisdom saving throw, such as it is.
You
Wisdom.
let it off the raft building, I take it.
So wisdom, right? So 11.
Okay. As you pull out the sword, it comes as no surprise to you, or probably anyone else, that the sword is packed with black mist. The edge is its usual sort of white flame of anger and desire to attack. But there is a thick black mist from the edge as well, so these black and white flames are intertwining. As you draw it, you sort of go into attack, and it just kind of it puts up an enormous amount of resistance. What was the exact result? Sorry, from the saving throw.
11.
11. It's going to let you attack, but it's resisting, and as it does so, you hear a voice in your head saying something, which I will send to you. All right, so while I'm typing that, the next person up is Adalbert. So I have a thing what you want to do. I'm just going to send a growling message to Horatia. Adalbert, what would you like to do?
I mean, as I'm being kind of dragged off by Zamar, there's a surprise that someone so small and weedy is pulling me, and then the instant recognition that I am just slightly bigger and still as weedy. So, makes perfect sense. Essentially, I wonder if I can use one of my esoteric checks to kind of figure out what it might be.
Sure. Roll.
17.
All right. I am going to send you a message.
Thank you. And I have time to talk, don't I?
Yes.
Zamar, put me down.
He's already dropped you unceremoniously at the edge of the...
It's an illusion, everyone. The town is playing tricks on us.
So Simon, I sent you a message as well.
Okay. Lithia, roll a wisdom saving throw. Samita, roll a wisdom saving throw.
A 14 for Samita.
A 20. Dirty.
Okay, so Rathia's action in the end, instead of attacking this thing, he's just going to walk into the pit.
Okay. What was your roll, Alithia?
20 dirty.
Samita?
14.
14. So, Alithia, you immediately see that this is something playing on your mind, some kind of effect that's made you see and feel and hear things. But you can still kind of make it out, even though you're disbelieving it. And so you see Horatia stomp over and sort of suspend in the middle of the air. It's not a very complex illusion because it doesn't try and make up for the fact that Horatia is now floating.
Seems like we've still got time to kip.
Samita, you're still struggling to distinguish that this isn't an illusion, but you've heard everything that people have said. So,
Okay.
and now Harathi has just walked into thin air.
Okay.
Amar sort of steps out from the shadows and sort of spits on the ground. Stand place. Why would we see the same? Does not matter. And then he slumps back down again, looking even more exhausted. And at this time just lies straight back down on the ground, like stares up at the sky.
Those with proficiency in Arcana, roll Arcana.
I have that. Well, that's nice. 18.
11.
Okay. Alithia, you believe quite strongly that what you just saw isn't just an illusion. It's something that exists, and it may even be a moment in time being replayed. Or it could be an echo from the future. This is something that has happened somewhere, maybe here.
Oh. Is that my message from the gods, by the way?
No, that was Alithia being intuitive.
Okay, cool. I think this place is remembering or remembering. I don't know what it is when you think about the future.
Sorry, what did you say?
I think it's remembering or remembering.
No, we saw this before. Serene was attacking. Do you remember, Horacio, when we last came here?
Yeah.
We saw Serene leave the church and run towards an elven woman in blue robes. She was chasing after her. Is Serene around?
No.
Or-
No.
No. We need to find out if we see her again, whether that is something that has happened to her or not. That way we will be able to determine whether it was in the past or, as you say, potentially the future. Ugh.
How can you remember the future? That don't make no sense.
It's not remembering, it's remembering.
Zane was about to say something.
Look, call it what you want, but you still can't remember the future, can you?
Yeah, I think
Time
It's
is
just-
complicated, Harathia.
No, it ain't. You
it's an
do
echo.
something, and then something else happens. That's how time works, don't it?
It's an echo
I
of time.
am too tired to even contemplate this right now. And then, yeah, collapses back, staring at the sky.
Don't close your eyes and go to sleep.
He's gonna try.
Roll another Constitution saving throw.
Wait. Before you go to sleep, here, maybe the gods can help you sleep. I don't know if they do that, but maybe they can help you. And here you go. I'll pat you. I pat your head.
Oh, is this a...
Yeah, you get a D4.
Okay.
That's kind of a sweet way of using magic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Help someone go to sleep.
Yeah. The only slight difference being that Zamar visibly winces when he has his head patted. But it does work, and he gets 17. Total.
Well,
All right. Sorry, go on, Adabeth.
I know. I was just going to turn to Ellie and say, I had my own plan, but sure, that'll work.
So, Zamar, as you begin to fall asleep, with a very calm, sort of centered feeling from Alithia's blessing, you find yourself falling very quickly into a deep sleep, but I just sent you a message. What is everyone else doing while this goes on?
You don't actually have to sleep. You just have to rest, don't you?
Yeah.
So Raphael sort of, I don't know, leaning up against a rock or whatever, a tree or a piece of wood or something, with half an eye open. If he goes to sleep, he goes to sleep, but he's resting.
Okay. Those of you who are awake, which is everyone apart from Zamor, roll a wisdom saving throw.
Ooh, 17.
A 9.
4.
11.
Oh God.
A lot of saving throws this game.
We need a paladin.
Adalbert?
4.
4. So everyone is struggling with hearing and seeing things now. You've just had a vicious experience that kind of woke you to this danger. So it's not like when you see something you immediately think is real now. But you are now constantly seeing stuff come out of the mist, people that you've known in the past appearing next to you, voices that are familiar to you coming out of the lake. And each time it happens, it kind of disturbs you from whatever you're doing and makes you concentrate for a second, and then you just go, oh, it's just an illusion. Those of you who rolled less than 10, it takes a bit longer to see through it or to understand that it's not real, but you all do. These are very subtle, less effective illusions than the one that arrived earlier.
Raphael will get fed up with this and close his eyes.
Okay. Bahar is going to stay on watch as planned.
People, creatures, things have forgotten. I'm like not being very loud, by the way. Just kind of like saying this out aloud, hoping that whatever is out there can hear. We just want to find out more. That lady seems really sad. And if we can help you, stop being sad. We want to. So if you could not send these things, that'd be really great. It'll help us help you.
Roll persuasion.
Oh no! Why am I so bad at this?
If you go up a level, I swear I'm going to get you to like, get a feat in bloody persuasion.
I don't think that is
Getting
fun.
better at it at least by now.
Nope. Oh my god, it's an 8.
An 8.
Yeah.
It's almost in response, as if what you were saying was heard, and then out of the mist, you see another illusion. This is a horse riding fast across the water, coming towards you, slightly too fast for a normal horse. It's got a cloaked rider, and the rider has 2 blades on their belt, which are curled knife. It's almost a stiletto knife, but it's got a curled blade. And black mist is sort of pouring out of the back of the rider and the horse and puffing up with each step. And shortly behind that is another horse, but this is a white horse that's riding at a slower pace. And you can stop grinning, Mr. Roberts. And as the white horse comes closer, you can see on the back of the horse there is a white cowled figure sitting on the horse. And it's kind of one of those moments where something happens, but the instant it happens, it's gone. And so the white horse rears up, and the rider, out of its sleeves, this chain flies. And as the chain is flying towards you, this entire vision is gone, and all you're left with is this feeling, oh, there's another illusion or something, some kind of message.
Do you guys see that?
No.
Raphael might be asleep by now, so no, he didn't.
Bertie Baha? Raina?
Right.
Did you see that?
I have my head down. I was drawing.
Uh-huh.
What?
Did you see that? The village gave me a big fuck you.
See what, Olivia?
Ah, never mind.
And that was your message from the gods?
Wait, what? I didn't realize that. Okay, fine. Okay.
Lashas didn't
Well.
define which god.
Oh, I'm hurt. Oh.
So which so the white horse had the chain thing and was chasing the one with the black.
Well, you'd need Alithia to describe it to you.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's open to interpretation. Who's doing what to whom, and that is where we'll end the session. As you try and get some sleep, and you can hear the croak of frogs and all kinds of natural creatures around you, while the mist continues to screw with you.
Yay.
Thanks, Lashas. Oh my days.
That was quite cool.
I can't believe that's already 2 hours.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. All right. Well, please follow, subscribe if you enjoyed the session. If you didn't, then follow and subscribe anyway, because it will help us. I hope you did enjoy the session. Sorry, what was that?
And why didn't you enjoy it?
Yeah, exactly. Feedback form is available in there.
If you didn't enjoy it, Rathy is coming round to your house.
Oh, yeah.
And if you did enjoy it, Hirath is coming, but he's bringing Grant.
Yeah. Thanks, Garcia. I hope you sleep well. Good night. See you later.
Yes. We won't.
Yes, next week we'll find out if Zaymar can fall asleep.
Yeah. Falling asleep is just whether he's going to bloody stay that way for more
True.
than 5 minutes.
I hate that, but yeah.
Dear. He
All right,
likes
cool. So, as usual, we have Q&A where I ask questions of the players. If you have any questions, then please do put them into chat, and I'll do my best to spot them and ask them on your behalf. In the meantime, I need to turn off that night bot. All right. So, first question, as always, is for Kevin. So I wrote this question earlier.
Okay.
Before the session. But anyway, so Kevin, how much does Samita fear Serene?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. So they met at the Ruined Keep. I think she doesn't fear Serene as much as have her as an unknown on the board of, chess or whatever the local game is in her head. Serene is, something to be discovered still, dangerous. But she doesn't fear her outright because she hasn't had the experiences that Zaymar and Haratha have described. So, that's something like, okay, that's helpful information, but I need to figure out myself how I'm going to deal with her. So, I'm very curious how that's going to evolve going forward, especially if she's still here.
All right. Question for Matt. Adalbert seems to be in his element experimenting with the lake and dispel magic. How much of Alorin has rubbed off on him?
I think he had it in him all along. It's that kind of unbridled pride. But over Aloran, at least, Adalbert has common sense not to touch the idol.
Right. We'll see how much sense Adalbert has. The question for Mads. Now that Alithia...
Who's a Lauren?
It's a character that Matt knows for reasons.
Okay. Reason.
Question for Mads. Now that Alithia is at Rogerton, is it what she expected?
I don't think Alithia knew what to expect. No, it's not. It's not. Because she was expecting like a horror story, like a ravaged village with cracks in the ground and, kind of really scary, monstrous things coming out from every angle, real ones, not kind of just illusions, and then kind of horrific, like, terrifying illusions of, gore and, psychologically messed up stuff. And instead, she gets the sunset and starry night. And yes, there's like the weird feeling of corruption, but it's kind of nice. It's not as bad as she thought it was going to be. She thought it was going to be like Battlefield, and instead it's more like creepy camping.
Is that a thing? You said it like it's a thing. All right, question for Horatia. Horatia has cased many joints before. Does he view the trip to the church in the same way?
Yeah, inevitably. That's sort of the way he operates. It's like, he hasn't got any bright ideas particularly. Build a raft is not like high-level thought, is it? But he's direct. There's a thing they got to do. There's an unusual setup, so he's direct to the point. Get some trees, build a raft, go to the church. Not complicated. And so far, no one's come up with a better plan.
I've noticed that with Horatia. He suggests the simplest plan ever, and everyone's like, yeah, we'll do that. It's quite funny. All right, question for Zamar. Tactically, the group are at a disadvantage crossing the water. What is Zamar most concerned about?
That the Horatia will build a raft and sail us over.
I'm looking forward to that next session, to be honest.
Like, what's he most... Yeah, exactly what Horatia is doing. That's what he's most concerned about. It's like, I know, let's entrust our lives to a piece of badly tied wood and sail off into something where you die if you go under the water and you die if you stay above it. Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, he's not looking forward to the next bit. Let's just put it that way.
All right, I'm looking forward to the bonus action hide.
Everything is like, I'm going to hide in this super exposed piece of water.
Yeah, I could attach a few bits of wood going vertically just to provide you cover.
Yeah.
or something comes up and then it's like, we need to attack it, and it's like, throw a knife and it goes dink, blunk, and drops in the water. Or it doesn't travel. It's just the worst. Everything about this is the worst. And it's water. It's not like Zamar loves the water at the moment.
Yeah.
You just imagine Zamar kind of sitting on the edge of the water, smoking his pipe, going, certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Except he doesn't have a pipe.
No, nor is he a left dwarf.
But yeah, exactly. Dwarf as well.
All right, question for Kevin. I don't know why I asked this. Some of these questions are a little bit random because I was frantically writing them. Does Samita ever fear that too much knowledge could be a danger to her?
No, never. It probably could be, but by definition, she is someone who must know, in her own way. Not I think that's probably the biggest similarity she shares with Adalbert. But yeah, she has to know. She hates not knowing, and yeah, that is absolutely. I think ignorance is anathema to her. So.
All right. Question for Matt. How difficult is it now as a player to keep all the knowledge about magic of this world straight in your head?
Yeah, it's hard. There are certain bits I think I've got down, and then someone, let's be honest, Ellie, will ask me a question, and I'm like, yeah. But the great thing is, I just make things up, and Simon's like, yeah, or you're wrong, but yeah. It's good, and it's great because even if he doesn't know, Adalbert's going to pretend that he does because that's who he is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true. It's a good character for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Question for Mads. Nature has been severely twisted at the lake. How does it make Alithia feel?
Has it?
Yeah, there's lava underneath the water. That's not natural. The lake should have evaporated.
Really?
Oh yeah, that's what happens.
No, because are you sure? Because like
yes.
you know in like Hawaii,
when lava especially in Hawaii or Iceland, when lava hits water, it turns into a poisonous gas and evaporates everything. It's like 3,000 degrees centigrade or something. It's insane. You don't want to be near it either.
But why don't you like in Hawaii? You've got like the lava meeting the sea.
Yeah, it looks pretty, but that's evaporation. Don't be near it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize that wasn't natural.
Yeah.
So I've been playing it very differently. Okay. Weirdly, I think Alithia is. So there's two sides to the coin. If she knew this, because I didn't know this, and so I'm gonna like tell you how she feels now, and then I'll stop playing it this way. There's two sides to the point. One side is that this kind of perversion of like the natural order of things, and that is wrong, and that is bad. But the other side of the coin is that there is this other plane out there that's a shadow plane, and a lot of these kind of aberrations are coming from there. So maybe this is natural over there, and it's an opportunity to learn a little bit more about how nature works, and it's not quite what she thought it is. Yeah. So,
Yeah, makes sense. Good night, Crash Cat. Sleep well.
Good night.
See you later. Question for Herathia. Herathia seems to have a timer in his head for discussions. When does he decide it's time to move on?
When he gets bored. Well, actually, not always quite then, but it's not long after when he gets bored. He'll accept there's a bit of boredom, but not too much. So, until he just gets fed up, and then he'll bring it to a close or talk about something else or stomp off, because it's boring.
All right. Question for Zaymar. Is Zaymar most excited by a puzzle to solve or a person to solve?
Oh, it'll always be a person. Like puzzles. Puzzles. I mean, like puzzles are trivial by comparison. They're like locks. You can, after a certain amount of experimentation, you'll get one open or whatever. So it's just. Whereas people, like, they can change constantly. So they can tell you one thing and act one way one day, and then they can act a different way the next day. So you constantly have to be on your feet, really. So yeah, he finds the people much more interesting. He finds it also super interesting to see if he can manipulate people as well. I mean, so that's why. But it's like in the same way that it's like, oh, a puzzle is something that you would unlock. Like Zamar likes putting them back together again in different ways. If you can unlock a person as a puzzle, then maybe putting it back together in a slightly different way would be even more interesting.
All right. And a question for Simon from La Chasse. Which is the most evil god the party knows of? I have no ulterior motive in asking the question, I promise.
Do not answer that, Simon.
So, La Chasse, define evil. None of the gods have a alignment because I don't run alignments in the campaign. All the gods have a personality, and it's kind of up to you to decide if you consider that personality evil or not. I'll leave that to you to have a conclusion about. I think so far the party are only aware of 2 other gods. So the Huntress and maybe Aldrinor. Is he a god? Who knows? Well, obviously I do,
have
but
like 5.
yeah. Sorry. I meant in the story currently.
Okay, fine.
I mean, obviously, Alithia channels the gods.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into too much detail about that yet, but yeah.
That's good.
Thanks, La Chasse, for the question. I hope I answered it fully so that you're very happy with the answer. Question for Kevin. Samita holds a lot of cards close to her chest. I wonder who that sounds like. Who out of the group is she most likely to be open with?
Oof. I think on the surface, probably Haratha, actually. Yeah. I will not explain why, but yes, I think so.
Well, naturally.
Mads is like shaking it.
Sorry.
No, she's like, oh yeah, that's the person Alithia would be most open with. Question for Matt. Adalbert seems to be quite distracted by Baha at times. Isn't that potentially dangerous considering where they are?
You say distracted. I think Adalbert would disagree. As part of the group, his safety is as much priority as anybody else's, and it's often overlooked by the other members of our party. So Adalbert is doing his duty to the team by ensuring Baha is well looked after.
That's what it is. I thought so.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right. Question for Mads. Does Alithia think her warnings to Baha have made all the difference in their relationship?
No. Well, actually, does Alithia think that, actually? Yeah, I do, because I don't. It's mad. She's quite perceptive, so I would say probably hasn't done much. But also, it's been a long time since Alithia's knocked Baha out, so oops.
All right.
She did, didn't she? I think.
Oh, no, she absolutely did, but that needs explaining, because it was before we went live.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah. So back in the day, Alithia decided to do a spell in the battlefield, and Baha was like flung to the other side of the room and was thrown out the door and cracked her skull open and was knocked out. And she could do it again.
Wasn't it Baha okay? Wasn't it me who you kind of threw across the room?
Both of you.
There are quite a few people thrown across the room.
Some of them didn't make it.
Some of them
Most of them
died.
didn't
Yeah,
Somebody snuffed it for a brief period of time.
permanently. How does... Sorry, question for Mr. Roberts. How does Harathia feel now that the remains of Rogerton are flooded and covered over?
It's sort of like every time we come back, it's slightly worse situation. So he's sort of thinking maybe they could have sorted it out the first time they came, whatever it is. But that's the basic problem. It's like, it's magic, isn't it? And it's like, what does he know about magic? Nothing. You know? So we've come back, it's flooded, we'll get to the church, and then hopefully the arcanists among us can actually sort it out, whatever it is. It's a great plan, I think you'll agree.
It's detailed.
Yeah.
All right, question for Zamar. How does Zamar feel now that his deathbed is covered in water?
Deathbed is covered in water. Oh, I see what you mean. Courtesy of Serene. He probably has past it. Like, to be honest, he wouldn't think anything of it, to be honest. But does he still remember like this whole area with a rotation? Yes, he'd be much gladder when he puts Rogerton behind him. He doesn't. Yeah, he is not looking forward to all of this, and yeah, I think he'll be much gladder when he can see the back of Rogerton. But it's inevitable that it keeps coming back here. So he's just like hoping to make sure this is the last time we have to come back. That's what he's hoping. Who knows?
All right. Final question for Kevin. Is Samita a fan of hot springs?
Probably not anymore after Rogerton. I don't know what her feelings were before, but I have a sense that she'll be quite happy to be away from hot water for a while, if we survive this place.
All right. Final question for Matt. Is Adalbert considering setting up a spa here?
Probably not, considered he told everyone we shouldn't be going because we're going to die. However, a spa somewhere safer isn't a bad idea. Attached to the university. Win-win.
All right. Question for Mads. What does Alithia think is going on with the water?
So the theory that Alithia has is that the lava is obviously coming from the ground, and where the ground has terrifically cracked in the past, this is just an idea, is where there've been breaks through to the shadow plane. So Alithia wonders, has there been a breach to the shadow plane below? Most of the shadowy sort of things end up being covered in water for some weird reason, and that's been the case multiple times. And when we've been sailing and at Lady Doreen's house, and then the lava has come up because there's been a breach in the ground. That's what she thinks. And she wants to climb through.
Yeah. Final question for Mr. Roberts. Where is Harathia most comfortable, the streets of a large city or a lava-filled lake?
I think you didn't think very hard about that one, because clearly it's the city rather than a lava-filled lake. I mean, he wants to be skulking in some back alley with a big knife, ready to catch somebody off guard. That's what he wants to be doing. Paddling his raft across a lake, a corruption-filled lake, is not exactly his usual haunts, should we say.
All right. Question from Lachas as well. Would Harathia sacrifice Bran to save the world?
Wait, who's that? Who's that for?
That's for you, from Lachas.
Oh, sorry. No, of course he fucking wouldn't. The world can go, screw itself. As long as Bran's all right.
All right. And final question of the evening for Mr. Harris. In a weird way, does Zamar hate Rogerton less now?
No. In a weird way. It was like, oh yeah, it was like brilliant. Yeah. Oh, I've missed this place. It's been so lovely. It's like the sun's out, the stars are there. It's just wonderful now. I'm going to get myself a little count bed and go to sleep. Oh no, wait, I can't. There's a bunch of claws grabbing at me. Brilliant. Yes.
That's right. Sleep is overrated anyway.
No. Not
All
the
right.
same, Mark.
All right, cool. So that we'll end the session there. Thank you again for joining, and thank you, Kevin, for being a wonderful guest player.
Thank you for having me. Always.
Any shout-outs from you, Mads, while I check who I can raid?
So I have been drowning at work, so I don't know what's happening in the world. But as ever, massive shout out to Tabletop TV and the Tales of Adea on Sundays at 5 p.m. BST. It is awesome. There is a wonderful cast with a wonderful DM who you may have met once or twice on the stream. They have so much fun, and it's this really high magic world full of twists and turns, and it's just amazing to watch. So catch that out. Yeah, do you wanna say anything else, Kevin?
No, just thank you. That was really kind.
Okay.
Exactly the same way that this one isn't, annoyingly.
What's that?
It's a high magic world. In
Yes.
the same way that this one isn't.
It's true. So we really go and watch them on Chaotic Stupid Media on Twitch, and you can catch the video on demand and the YouTube afterwards. And thank you to everyone, Tabletop Solidarity. I have not been engaging, but we love you anyway. Tabletop Solidarity, TTRPG Solidarity, and the wonderful friends we've made along the way.
Thanks, Mads.
Yeah. Sorry, my brain is mush. And thank you, obviously, to all of you who watch us week in, week out.
Yeah.
And you have
Beluga of the numbers and
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's wonderful, chatting with you every week, seeing you in the chat, seeing you watching. I've not been able to check this week actually who has been watching. So yeah, if you guys know, then do some shout outs. But we really appreciate it. And we talk about it amongst ourselves. And we're like, oh my god, they're watching again. This is so exciting. We're like a soap opera. Yeah, so thank you.
Yes, thank you. And thanks to Lachasse for calling me the Simon. I'm going to raid Rafazil again. She's one of the players on Bardic Dice's Fates United on Thursday. I'm not quite sure what she's doing right now, but I'm going to start that raid anyway. So in 10 seconds, you will be transported by magic to her stream. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.